Hari Om. Let us chant the last 10 verses of chapter 8, starting from verse 19. Bhutagramha sahevayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratriagame vashapatha prabhavatyah parastasmatu bhavonyah avyakto vyakta sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati avyaktoksara ityuktah tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama purushassa parapatha bhaktya labhyasvananyaya yasyantastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginah prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bharata shabha agnir jyotirah shuklah षण्मासा उत्तरायणम् तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्म ब्रह्मविदो जनाः धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मासा दक्षिणायनम् तत्र चान्द्रमसं ज्योतिः योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते शुक्ल कृष्णे गति हेते जगत शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः नैते श्रुति पार्थ जानन् योगी मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुन वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम् अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. In the beginning of this chapter, Arjuna asked a few questions. Adi Yagyam, Adi Daivam, Adi Bhutam, etc. And then finally he asked a question. The final question that he asked is, how are you to be remembered by the yogi at the time of death? So 7 questions he asked. The first two, in the first two verses, Krishna answered all the questions. Adi Yagyam, Adi Daivam, Adi Bhutam, Karma, all that he explained. After explaining all this, he went into a detailed elaboration of how are you to be remembered by the yogi, the self-controlled one at the time of death. And for that question, Krishna went into a detailed elaboration on this chapter. Prayana kale. How does one remember you at the time of death? By whom? By the one who's practicing self-control, yogi. By the yogi, not everybody. There is a difference between a yogi remembering God versus a person in distress remembering God. It's not remembering God. Who remembers God? A person in distress remembers God only to get out of the distress. A yogi remembering God is for the sake of growth. Understand this difference. Most of the human beings remembers God at least a few times in their life. Whenever they are in distress, when there is a sorrow, when there is a suffering, when they do not know, when some things that they don't want to happen happens, not knowing what to do, they remember God. Now what he is saying is, it is not remembering God. Who remembers God? By the self-controlled. By the self-controlled means the yogi. What happens to the yogi who has practiced yoga but not achieved moksha? What happens to him? That's the question. Now we are going into an answer for that question. When we say we are going into it, he started. Verse 5, he started answering. Went into elaboration and then he came on to the three. What are the three? Krishna Gati, Shukla Gati, direct path. The path of the sun, the path of the moon, and then the direct path. Even though he didn't say the direct path, we are comparing and contrasting and talking about the third path. Or he is not talking about the third path in this chapter. To compare and contrast, we are talking about the third. Why? Because right through the theme is the third. The direct path is the theme, right through. But since Arjuna asked a question, he is elaborating, and this question is a very valid question, because for seekers it will happen that they may have to go through a few janmas. Seeking must continue in a few. He is being very practical. He is not in this classroom. We are trying to be overly optimistic and not doing anything at all. And Krishna is being very practical, saying that yes, there is a class of people who goes through these stages. And then we saw the word gati. When Arjuna asked about the time, Krishna directed the discussion to the path. Arjuna was asking about the time of death. Krishna swiftly changed the direction from time to the gati. Even though Arjuna was asking prayana kale, Krishna shifted the discussion to gati. What is the difference between the two? It is not the time of death, it's the direction matters. It's not the time of death that matters, because Arjuna is worried about the time of death. Why he is worried about the time of death? Because somewhere he has heard this word Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. You die in Uttarayana, you go there. You die in Dakshinayana, you will go here. And Bhima also, Bhishma also waited for. So he has heard all these stories and assumed what? It is the time of death that matters. Because if you die in Uttarayana, it's okay. Don't die in Dakshinayana. So he has misunderstood all that. Why he misunderstood? Because he never did any vichara. Since he never did any inquiry, since he never did any study, he simply misunderstood a few things. And that misunderstanding asked him to ask the question, what happens to them at the time of death? First, Krishna said, don't worry about the time of death. It's not the kale, it's not the kala, it's the gati. And these two words you should remember. The two words is from kala to gati. Kala means time, gati means the path. Because the time and all doesn't make any, the time doesn't make any sense at all beyond a point. Okay. To put it very simply, if there is a criminal that dies during the path of the sun time, will he go to heaven? He is not going to go. He is not going to go. Why? Because determining the time of death and all is not our decision. Two things you don't decide. What are the two things that you don't decide? At what time you will be born, you don't decide. Sometimes the doctors decide. Parents and the doctors decide based on, this is the good time, sir. I want my son to be born at a good time. Vedanta will come and say, don't do this. This is what Ravana did. Rakshasa will do that. This is what Ravana did. He asked, what is the best time for the child to be born? And they said, all the planets has to be aligned in a particular manner. He went and captured all the planets. All the Navagrahas he imprisoned and brought him to his room and said, all of you fellows go and stand in your position. Whatever is your best position, go and stand. Because clear, Indrajit is going to be born at that time. And when he is born, now you cannot determine the time of, birth, neither can you determine the time of death. So there is no Dakshinayana Kala and Uttarayana Kala. It is only the Gati. Are you able to follow? It's only the Gati that matters. Gati means the path that you have taken in life matters. What is the path that you have taken? If you have taken the path of indulgences, sensuality, indulgences, and only that as the motive of life, that as the purpose and mission of life, that category of people we are not discussing. Why we are not discussing that category of people? Their gati is very clear. What is their gati? What is the gati of the one who is indulgent? Naraka, hell. Adhogati, Durgati, all that he has seen, all that he has said already. Adhogati, Durgati, all that happens. By the time if you lead a life of, if your priorities in life is only to indulge, always sukham and no dukkham. If this is the attitude of life, if this is the goal of your life, what gati you will take? You will take the gati of adhogati. And that category of people we are not talking. Why we are not talking about that category of people? Because they are in Naraka, and for all that activities they have to exhaust that and come out. Until they exhaust and come out, you wait. So that is as far as that category of people is concerned. Now he has come to those who have taken the path, the three categories. What are the three categories? One who has turned unselfish but doesn't have liberation as the goal. He's a very unselfish person but doesn't have liberation as the goal. What happens to him? The path of the moon. He will take to the path of the moon. Another one who has taken up to the path of liberation, moksha, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, everything he did. But one thing he missed. What did he miss? Karma yoga he did rightly, bhakti yoga he did rightly, he did lot of thing. One thing he missed. What is the one thing he missed? Shankar. What is the one thing he missed? One thing he missed is coming to the Sunday classes. Yeah, he didn't come to the Sunday class. He missed that. Because he missed that, he has to go to Brahmaloka and listen to the classes from Brahma there and attain moksha. This is called the path of the sun. So there is the path of the moon, and then there is the path of the sun. In chapter 7 and from chapter 9 onwards, Krishna is going to shift the gears back to the third path. What is the direct path? The mukti now. So there are 4 things that you can understand in life. You can have 4 things: Naraka, Swarga, Krama Mukti, Jivan Mukti. There are 4 things you can have in life. Naraka. Naraka means hell. Second is Swarga, heaven. Third one is Krama Mukti. The fourth one is Jivan Mukti. Having heard about this 4, having understood the plus and minuses of all the 4, what you should aspire for? Jivan Mukti. Very correct answer. Jivan Mukti. But something has to be done for that. Jivan Mukti, my goal is Jivan Mukti. I want liberation now. I want liberation now. Doesn't make any sense at all. Doesn't make any difference at all. Why? Because something has to be done to get that. And the whole Bhagavad Gita, he is giving techniques how to get there. This is what we have studied till. This is what we have studied till now. And the last 2 verses is where we, in fact, the last 3 verses is where he went into the classic Vedic style of explanation of the Gati. This is the Vedic style, the typical Vedic style. And except these 4-5 verses, Krishna will never refer to this again. Why? Because maybe at the time of Krishna itself, people started moving out of Vedas and Vedanta. Now, if Krishna were to be alive now, I don't know what he will do. If Krishna were to be alive now, what he will do? He will talk about stress management, making relationships work. Because what else to talk now? What is the point in talking about Jivan Mukti and Krama Mukti and all now? So what he will talk about? He will talk about how to make relationships. Wow, beautiful, sir. Beautiful. Beautiful. Very practical topic. Very, very meaningful topic. Krama Mukti, Jivan Mukti and all is out of syllabus. Why talk about all that? Who's keen on that? But very important. What? Management principles from Bhagavad Gita. Self-management, management principle is how to cheat another. That's all. That is a management principle. No, how to brainwash the other, how to confuse the other and exploit the other. Use the weakness of the other and exploit. That's the management principle. Punit, correct? No. All management principles boils down to one thing. What? Exploit the. Every guy has a weakness. Exploit the weakness, and that's the only way you can make your profit. That's all. And we have to study Bhagavad Gita also for that. So all that doesn't. So at the time of Krishna, he very rarely here and there he uses these Vedic things. Nowadays, we don't even refer to any of these. Since Krishna is talking about in these few verses, he's giving us some opportunity also to show off what all we know. These are all the verses where we can show off. Yeah. This is Dakshinayana, Uttarayana, this is said in that Veda, this is said in this Upanishad, this is said in that, and all. You think, wow, out of syllabus also he has studied a lot. Out of non-detailed study also he has studied. Out of syllabus he has studied a lot. The gati is important. What is he talking about? The gati. Gati means the path. The path that which you lead your life is that which determines what you remember at the time of death. The path that you have taken is that which helps you to what you will remember at the time of death. If you have been thinking of God as a problem solver right through your life, if you have been thinking of God as one who is going to come and solve your problems, now death will become a problem. Are you able to follow? So what is your understanding of God? If you have been thinking God is the one who is going to solve your problems. So each and every stage in life there is a problem, isn't it? What is a problem? School admission is a problem. Yeah. LKG admission, the biggest problem in life is LKG admission, isn't it? Even nobody is worried about university and all. That is also very easy now. Yeah. LKG admission is the biggest, and then you go to God. God grants you LKG admission, and then you go to university admission, and then you go to job, marriage, children, grandchildren. So at every stage in life you had a problem, and you go to God, and what God did? Solved your problems. If this is your understanding of God, death will become a problem. At the time of death, death will become a problem, and you will remember God for what? To solve the problem of dying. I don't know what is going to happen to me. Make sure that only good things happen to me, etc. It means that person is not a yogi. If a person has lived this kind of a lifestyle and remembering God, it means that person is not a yogi. And who's a yogi? The self-controlled. Who's a yogi? One who is self-controlled is a yogi. The practice of self-control itself is because of what? The practice of self-control becomes meaningful, becomes an essential practice to the one who wants to reach the highest, liberation. If a person is not interested in liberation, self-control will not be a lifestyle. Self-control will be a temporary phase. Again, I repeat, if moksha is not the goal, self-control will not be your lifestyle. It will be a temporary thing. What is the temporary thing? Like the child preparing for the examinations, saying no to a few things for 2 months. 2 months of self-control. 1 week of self-control. Semester exam comes. 1 week of self-control. That itself is too much. Where is that? That itself is too much. And then, as soon as the examination is over, you come out of the hall, what goes out? Self-control goes out. Because now now is the time to enjoy. And what is enjoyment? Indulgence. The only way to enjoy is what? The only known way and the most ignorant way of a human being to enjoy is what? Through indulgence. Who's a yogi now? A yogi is one who has understood the futility of this practice. Of what? Happiness is not going to come through indulgences. And in fact, indulgences are detrimental. All that we saw yesterday, previous class, in the thesis on God. The yogi is one who has understood all that. Having understood all that, he has self-control has become his lifestyle. Lifestyle means throughout the life you live it. Then only it can be called as a lifestyle, isn't it? Such a person, what happens to him? What happens to yogi at the time of death? That's the question. for which Krishna said there are three paths. Depending on where you are, you will go there. That is the answer. Are you able to connect now? Krishna said there are three. Yogi has three. What are the three? Swarga, Brahmaloka, Jivan Mukti. These three are there. The path of the moon is where you enjoy the benefits and then you come back. Every passing day, your punya is diminishing. Every passing moment, your punya is diminishing in the path of the moon, and then you will come back. Just as in Naraka, every passing moment is your papa is getting exhausted. Similarly, every passing moment, your punya is getting exhausted. And then what will you do? You have to come back. And where do you have to come back? Where do you have to come back? Wherever you are now. And start. Wherever you are now, you have to come back and start all over again. You have to come back and start all over again. And what is starting all over again? Dukkha nivritti, sukha prapti, be indulgent, do this, do that. Again, go through the whole cycle. Looking at you going through this, he is tired. Looking at all of us going through this again and again and again, he is tired. Looks like we are not tired. We are saying, it's okay, sir. Just that mukti alone I will postpone, but rest of it we will discuss. Rest of it we will discuss. Are you able to follow? Therefore, Krishna is saying there are three paths. When you take to the path of the moon, what happens? He returns again. Path of the sun, you do not return. Path of the moon, you return. But both these paths, moksha you don't get. When you say both these paths, moksha you don't get, means even in the path of the sun, moksha will take a time. Moksha will take a time. In Brahmaloka, you have to sit in Brahmaloka and listen to all these classes in Brahmaloka again. Might as well learn it here only, no? Yeah, might as well hear it here. Might as well learn it here and avoid going to that, avoid the detour of Brahmaloka. And please understand, Brahmaloka is not that easy. Swarga itself is not easy. Remember that. Just because we are talking about this direct path, we tend to dismiss it as though it is something that is so easily attainable. You must remember what even Swarga is not easily attainable. Brahmaloka is that much more difficult. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. You come to this by after going through many janmas. Bahunam janmanam. That's what the reincarnation is saying. You will come back again and again and again. Why it is difficult? It is not that difficult if you can let go. If you can't let go, it is that difficult. What you should let go? What you should let go? In one class, you are saying one thing. So we really don't know what to let go. That also you only say. It's not that difficult if you are willing to let go. It is that difficult if you are not willing to let go. Now the question is, what is it that you have to let go? A few things you have to let go. Not just one, a few things. That's why Swamiji quotes his guru as a joke and he says, no, so many things to let go. And then you look at the guru, there is one man to let go. What is easy? Yeah. Remember that? Swamiji gives this joke. Oh my God. So hilarious it is. The way he says. You go to the guru, he says, let go, let go, let go. Now in 2 minutes, you have got 21 things to let go. You look at the 21 list and you look at the man who's easy to let go. Let go of this man. Easy this. A few things you have to let go. What are the few things that you have to let go? That's where the 3 paths helps you. Karma Yoga helps you to let go of something. Bhakti Yoga helps you to let go of something. Jnana Yoga helps you to let go of something. But the common thing is letting go. You have to let go. Let go means saying the I has nothing to do with it. That is letting go. The I has nothing to do with it. It means you start looking at yourself like, how would you look at a third person? You start looking at yourself like, how would you look at a third person? Infants do it in the early stages of their life. They look at their own body as a third person's body. They will never say, my body, my pain. They will say, this is paining. Supposing if they will say, this is paining. They will not say, I am in pain. This is letting go. This is what is called, this is called letting go. Nice to hear, beautiful to hear, and much, much easier to give a discourse to the others on letting go, but difficult is for oneself to let go. Why? Letting go requires a conviction. If you have to let go of something, you require a conviction. That's why knowledge is the only factor that gives conviction. So you gain this knowledge, there is a conviction. With that conviction, you will let go. And he spoke about Krama Mukti in this chapter. Technically, I'm talking now. Right through Bhagavad Gita, he will be talking about Jivan Mukti. Only in this odd chapter out, he's talking about Krama Mukti. Again from chapter 9, he will go back to there's no path of the sun, there's no path of the moon and all that. There's only one. What? Direct path. Come to me directly. They will pitch up the goal. And then they give logic and reason to explain that. Whoever follows that can reach that. Whoever follows that can reach that. It means what? To be unselfish itself is very difficult. Just to be unselfish itself is very difficult. When I say unselfish means unselfishness as a lifestyle is very difficult. All of us are unselfish, not as a lifestyle, but in pockets, isn't it? In pockets. In pockets, everybody is unselfish. Who is not unselfish? All human beings are unselfish in pockets, isn't it? When there is a crisis, when there is an earthquake, when there is a tsunami, when the whole city is underwater, everybody turns unselfish. Next day, water and all is drained. Traffic, what happens? Everybody wants to run over the other. What happened to that unselfishness of yesterday? Are you able to follow? Everybody is unselfish in pockets, in extreme situations. This will give you little bit of punya here and there, but more or less naraka only. Little bit of punya here and there and naraka. Example, sipping tea in naraka. Remember that? Pockets of unselfishness. That's the example. Pockets of unselfishness in crisis. Otherwise, running over. It's so funny, no? Volunteering, giving, sharing, doing everything. Next week, the floods and all is cleared. In the traffic, nobody wants to give way to the other. Why? Unselfishness went away. So this is unselfishness, but not as a lifestyle crisis. From this, you mature. What is the maturity? Unselfishness becomes the way of your life. Correct, sir. Now only you have understood me. I am living that life only. Now only you have understood all of us in this classroom. We are living that unselfish life only. Everything I have given to my children only. All are given only to my children. I am so unselfish. What? I have given everything to my children. I have nothing in my pocket, sir. Where everything went away? Everything went to the children. From the letting go doesn't mean from the right pocket you shifted to the left pocket. Yeah. That is not letting go. So unselfish becomes your lifestyle. What happens as the benefit? You go to Swarga. You go to Swarga because of the good merits. Because you have relieved the suffering of others and that has given you punya karma, you will go to Swarga, heaven. And what is heaven? Guaranteed period of Sukham is Swarga. It's a guaranteed period of Sukham. There you need not worry about avoiding Dukkham and courting Sukham and all. You go there, you will be told what? 6 months visa, 10 years visa, like that, no? Specified period of Sukham is Swarga. Why? Because you have deserved it. You have paid the price already, you go there. Even though you have become unselfish and earned a lot of merits and all that, what is the use? Who should do that vichara? What is the use of punya must be inquired by whom? By whom? By the one who has done punya, va? By the one who is capable of thinking. By the one who is capable of thinking, can think, okay, I can be unselfish and I can go to Swarga. And what is the use of it? Upanishad comes and explains. Kshine punye. Kshine punye means the punya gets diminished, exhausted, zero, back to square one. Oh, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. Then the third lifestyle. What is the third lifestyle? Krama Mukti. Invariably, most of the seekers in the initial stages will go through this path of Krama Mukti only. Because it is a combination of unselfishness, selflessness, knowledge. It's a combination of all put together. It's a combination of unselfishness. It's a combination of all put together. As a result of that, he has to go to Brahmaloka. And Brahmaloka is much more difficult to get than much more difficult to get than Swargaloka. Narakaloka is very easy. Yeah. If we continue to do what we are doing now, we will be in Narakaloka only. Yeah. So Naraka is not very difficult at all. Swarga is difficult. Difficult than Swarga is Brahmaloka. Why it is difficult? Remember chapter 3. Nitya Naimittika karma alone should be done. What should not be done will not be done. All that you should remember. Why it is difficult? When we say difficult, you should not ask what is the difficulty, sir. You should not ask. You have to do only Nitya karma, Naimittika karma. Punit. Nitya Naimittika karma means just obligatory duties. What is your obligations? Just keep doing that. Nothing else. But on a Sunday, can I take a break? You will go to Brahmaloka. For Sunday breaks, you have to go to Brahmaloka. But if I be selfless only on a Sunday, you will go to Swargaloka. Pockets of unselfishness, sipping tea in Naraka. All this is clear. All this is understood. Therefore, the difficulty. And then in Bhakti, what is Bhakti? Remembering God. And what is the difficulty? So you have to remember, it is easy in the initial stages to remember God with attributes. Saguna Brahman, it's called. Saguna Nirguna. Saguna Brahman means Brahman with attributes. What is Brahman with attributes? Nirguno, Nishkriyo, Nityo, Nirvikalpo, Niranjanaha, Nirvikaraha, Nirakaraha, Nitya Muktosmi, Nirmalaha. These are all Brahman with attributes. Saguna Brahman idalla. These are all Saguna Brahman with attributes. And then you mature. What is the maturity? Nirguna. What does Nirguna means? Nirguna means just staying silent. Any question about God, if you stay silent, then you are worshipping Nirguna. Why? Because any word belongs to a guna. Remember Atma Bodha, we have studied that. Word symbolizes what? Guna, karma, kriya. Word means all this comes in a word. So, Nirguno, Nishkriyo, all pervading, omniscient, omnipotent, everywhere. Any question about God, if you stay silent, you are doing Nirguna Brahman Upasana, Bhakti. What is Jnana Yoga? What is Jnana Yoga here? There is no distinction between the worshipper and the worshipped. There is no distinction between the worshipper and the worshipped. Aikyam, oneness. You follow? Aikyam, oneness. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnav, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva, Thena Gandhavyam, Brahmakarma, Samadhina. Everything is Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. The oblator is Brahman. The doer is Brahman. That which goes into the yajna is Brahman. The result is Brahman. It means what? There is only Brahman. There is a nose ring. There is a earring. There is a crown. There is a necklace. There is a bangle. So many jewelry, but all are gold. So many distinctions and differences for those who have not seen the gold. For those who have understood the gold, all this Nama Rupa is gold only. This is Jnanam. A person who does this attains Mukti now, Jivan Mukti. So, before we choose our lifestyle, Vedanta is giving us 4 paths. 4 paths are given to us before we choose what we have to, which direction we want to take. Naraka, Swarga, Brahmaloka, Jivan Mukti. 4 words. Easy to remember. Naraka, Swarga, Brahmaloka, Jivan Mukti. Don't say moksha, say Jivan Mukti. These are the 4 paths. This is what we have studied up to verse number 26. Even though the Naraka path and the direct path Krishna is not talking about in this chapter, we are adding the 2 to give a completion. In this chapter, Krishna is talking about only 2. What? Swargaloka versus Kramamukti. The discussion that Krishna is restricting the debate only to 2. What is the 2? Is Swargaloka or Kramamukti? Obviously, at least theoretical answer. Joint director, tragedy. Vasanti. Between the 2, what is the answer? Swargaloka or Kramamukti? Kramamukti. Next chapter. Kramamukti or Jivan Mukti? Jivan Mukti. Very good. This is the price you have to pay to get that. This is the price you have to pay to get that. When the price is told, everybody backs up. Everybody is happy. Up to this point, everybody is happy and everybody is very clear in what they want. Naraka, we don't want, sir. Swarganda, anyway, we are going to come down. Why? Kramamukti, Brahmaloka, waste of time. Jivan Mukti seems to be the right path, best path. I'm ready now. Now, I want it now. You want it now? Yes, I want it now. It is available. Even now, it is available. Free or not available? It's not available for free. There is a price. What is the price you have to pay? Verse number 28, we are going to conclude with. Verse number 28, we are going to conclude. What is the price that you have to pay? In verse number 27 that we are going to study now, he is saying, knowing these 4 paths, a person is not deluded. Knowing these 4 paths, a human being doesn't get deluded. What are the 4 paths? Naraka, Swarga, Brahmaloka, Jivan Mukti. Swarga itself is very heavy price. Brahmaloka is still expensive. Jivan Mukti, just got to drop everything. At least something I can carry, sir. At least some good memories I can carry. What good memory, bad memory? After you waking up from the dream, you want to carry the good memories of the dream. It means you have not woken up. It means you have not woken up. But good memories I can carry, no? From where? From the dream. It means you are still dreaming. These are the 4 paths. Up to verse number 26, Krishna has explained this. Now we go to verse number 27. Verse number 27.
Naite Shriti Partha Janan Yogi Muhyati Kaschana Tasma Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna Naite Shriti Partha Janan Yogi Muhyati Kaschana Tasma sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna.
Knowing these two paths, O Partha, no yogi is deluded. Therefore, O Arjuna, be steadfast in yoga at all times. Knowing these two paths, O Partha, no yogi is deluded. Therefore, O Arjuna, be steadfast in yoga at all times. Tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. Tasmat yogi bhava, meaning become a yogi. Become a yogi. You are worried about this prayana, kale and all because you have not even come to the level of yogi. That's why you are worried about what will happen to me after, what will happen to me after death, what will happen, what is happening after death. Why are you worried about all that? Because you have not reflected on these four gatis. If you have reflected on these four gatis, if you have understood all this, you know exactly what's going to happen. You know exactly what's going to happen after that. Why will after death? Why will you be worried? But you are worried. Why? Because you are deluded. Here, no yogi is deluded. Na mukhyati. Not in moha anymore. What is moha? Delusion. Delusion is a confusion, darkness, ignorance, not knowing what is going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, what will happen, sir? Only tomorrow knows. How can we know? We can never know what will happen. Who knows what will happen? A yogi is not bothered about that. Are you able to follow? Tasmat, therefore, tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. Tasmat uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nischayah. Somewhere else. Here he is saying, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Now you understand why we talked about unselfish in crisis, unselfish as a beach cleaning 3 hours, unselfishness. Rest of the time, go back and dirty the same beach that I have cleaned, isn't it? So, not in periods. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Are you able to follow? Sarveshu kaleshu means at all times be a yogi. Knowing the goals, knowing these two paths. Krishna is saying these two paths, but we are slightly advanced than Krishna. We know the four paths, isn't it? What are the four paths we know? Naraka, Swarga, Kramamukti, Jivan Mukti. Instead of Kramamukti, we say Brahmaloka. So, four words. Yeah, Mukti, again very confusing, isn't it? So, 4 words. What are the 4 words? Naraka, Swarga, Brahmaloka, Jivan Mukti. Knowing these 4 paths, no yogi is deluded. No yogi is deluded means what? He has known it. After knowing Naraka, after knowing Shine Punye, will anybody want that? No. Therefore, that path is over. He is not bothered about that. Now he has got only 2 paths. So, first round le 2 elimination, isn't it? In the first round, you have 4. Of the 4, in the first round, 2 gets eliminated. What are the 2 that got eliminated? Swarga, Naraka got eliminated. Now there are 2. What are the 2? Brahmaloka and Jivan Mukti. This debate comes to a Jnani, Sannyasi. This debate, Brahmaloka versus Jivan Mukti, is the choice available for a sannyasi. Theoretically, it is available for everybody. Practically, it is available for a sannyasi. And obviously, Krishna understood Arjuna has not yet reached the level of sannyas. Therefore, he said, Tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. At least turn into a, at least become a yogi. And yogi in this context means karma yogi. Karma bhakti. Because if you have done that, purification, sadhana chatushtaya sampat, etc., and then you are ready for Vedanta vichara, inquiry, jivan mukti. Beautiful sequence. The roadmap is so clear, so clearly laid out. There is no doubt at all. We get doubts because of our greed. We want to short circuit something. Our doubt is actually not a doubt. Our doubt comes out of greed. What is the greed? Somehow, from Naraka, can I straight go to flyover? Madras, they are building so many flyovers. After one, we don't know where we are going to land only, isn't it? So from Naraka, one flyover, straight to Jivan Mukti. Tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. Become a yogi. Become a yogi. A yogi also can have moksha as the goal. Remember that. Yogi also has moksha as the goal. He is ready to, yogi means one who is ready to go through the journey. What is going through the journey? Paying the price. Willing to pay the price. And what is the price? What is the price? First price you have to pay. PRICE. Correct? The first price. What is the first price you have to pay? What is the first price that you have to pay? And if you pay that price, after a few weeks, you can take the classes. Nobody will come, I will come and sit. Yeah. Anybody who gives the right answer, you can do the classes for the next few weeks. But I will come. What is the first price? What is the first price? Sequence. We have studied the sequence. We know the sequence and all that. What is the first price? Stay away from indulgences, sense control, turn introvert. All Shankaracharyas will be confused. The first price, unselfish. Srimati, unselfish. Stop hating others, Mohan. Give one knock at your head by yourself, Mohan. Yeah, I can't do that. Screen, if I give a knock, only my screen will break, and I can't afford to break my screen. After breaking my screen, I have to ask now. Somebody replace my screen. So I'm not knocking on you. You knock yourself, Mohan. Stop hating others. The first prize, Tam Titikshasva Bharata. Can't say that. Matrar Sparshastu Kaunteya, verse number 14, chapter 2. Matrar Sparshastu Kaunteya, Sitoshna Sukadukkadaha, Agama Paino Nityaha, Tam Titikshasva Bharata. First thing was practice Titiksha. That is the first prize. That is the first price we have to pray. What is the price? Titiksha. He thought sense control, self-control. How do you practice self-control? Titiksha is the practice of sense control. So first practice is what? Titiksha. Are you able to follow? What is Titiksha? Always the mindset is to no dukkam and only sukham. That's my hope of life. And the reality of life is lot of dukkam and a few sukham. What do you do when dukkam comes? What do you do when dukkam comes? Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. That's what the yogi does. Are you able to follow? When dukkha comes, what do? You don't go and ask God, take me out of this dukkham. It means you are not a yogi. What does yogi do? Agama payinaha anityaha tam titikshasva bharata. Practice titiksha. What is implied is backed by knowledge, obviously. Backed by knowledge. If it is not backed by knowledge, it is frustration. If titiksha is not backed by knowledge, it is frustration. Obviously, what is implied here is backed by knowledge. Practice titiksha, the first prize. And that titiksha builds about an inner strength. In that inner strength, second, sense control. Before sense control, something, first step, titiksha. Second step, sense control. The third step, mind control. The mind control, not hating others, Allah comes. Mohan. Right away, he went to the third step. Practice titiksha. And obviously, you should not ask what is titiksha, sir, how to practice titiksha and all. You should not ask. It is understood. We know what titiksha is. What is titiksha? Life gives both the situations, pleasant and unpleasant. Life gives two situations. What is the two situations? Pleasant, unpleasant. Not indulging in the pleasant and not crying and complaining about the unpleasant is titiksha. Are you able to follow? Titiksha oh, kashtathukku mattum titiksha illa. Sukhathukkum titiksha. Titiksha is both for sukham and dukkam. Not indulging when pleasant happens is titiksha. Not crying and jumping and doing when unpleasant happens. It means what? You are balanced. It means you are balanced. So titiksha is the first lesson in learning how to get balanced. How to get balanced. Able to follow? Followed by sense control. Sense control. Followed by mind control. All this is a preparation for what? Vichara. Inquiry. What is the vichara inquiry? Nitya anitya. Nitya anitya. What is nitya? What is anitya? What is satyam and what is mityam? That inquiry. And whoever does the satyam mityam inquiry results in moksha, jivan mukti now. Now you know all this at least on paper clearly. Tasmat yogi bhavarjuna, because you are not deluded. Why are you not deluded? Because you know teliva soltamulli. Having explained it so clearly, how can you have a doubt about which path you have to take in life? Therefore, which path you should take? Become a yogi. Tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. This is verse number 27. Verse number 28.
Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tasarvamidam viditva yogi param stanamupaiti chadhyam. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punyaphalam pradishtam atyeti tasarvamidam viditva yogi param stanamupaiti chadhyam.
Whatever meritorious fruit is assigned to Vedas, sacrifices, austerities, and also to gifts, the yogi rises above all these by having known this and goes to the supreme primeval abode. Whatever meritorious fruit is assigned to Vedas, sacrifices, austerities, and also to gifts, the yogi rises above all these by having known this and goes to the supreme primeval abode. What is he saying now? He's concluding. Chapter 8 is getting concluded with this verse. Invariably, the last verse will be the path. Invariably, the last verse of each and every chapter will be the path. Yogi means the one who is practicing yoga, who is doing actions. Yogi means one who is practicing yoga, doing actions. What kind of actions the yogi will do? He doesn't want you to do guesswork under. Only if you do these 4 types of actions, you are a yogi. What are the 4 types of actions that you have to do to be qualified to become a yogi? Vedeshu. Studying the Vedas. Second, yajneshu. By performing yajna. Tapas. By performing austerities. Dhaneshu. By giving dhanam. Remember these 3, yajna, dana, tapas. The 18th chapter is going to connect back and say, leave everything but don't leave yajna, dana, tapas, he will say. In the 17th chapter, he will talk about Satvik yajna, Rajasik yajna, Tamasik yajna. Satvik tapas, Rajasik tapas, Tamasik tapas. Satvik dhanam, Rajasik dhanam, Tamasik dhanam. All this is going to talk about in the 17th, 18th chapters. And then finally he is going to say, leave everything but don't leave these 3. Why? Because it is these 3 qualifies you to be a yogi. Obviously, what is implied? Vedeshu. Vedeshu means Nitya study. Nitya study. Nitya study means daily study. The daily study. Vedeshu. Study means Shravana Manana. Study means Shravana and Manana. Listening, studying, doubts comes, clarifying those doubts. This is the first one. The first discipline, the first discipline of a yogi is Vedeshu, studying the Vedas. Second is performing sacrifices. Yajneshu. Chapter 4, the 12 yajnas. The cycle. Keep to that cycle. Yajneshu means keep to that cycle. What cycle? As discussed in chapter 4. And what is discussed in chapter 4 yajna? How to remember divine in and through all actions. That's what yajna is. How to remember the divine in and through everything that you do. What are the 3 things that you do? Receipt, reaction, response. What are the 3 things that you do? Receipt, reaction, response. Receipt, reaction, response. How to remember God through the receipt. How to remember God through the reaction. How to remember God through the response. If you can remember God through receipt, reaction, response, you are performing yajna. Yajneshu. Yajna doesn't literally mean the havan. Havan is symbolic of this. He is not ridiculing the ritual, or the ritual is meaningless if you don't Remember the meaning behind it. What is it? How to remember the divine in and through all actions. What is tapas? Tapassu. Tapas. Raga Dvesha drives you into doing things. And whenever you want to whenever you want to control your Raga Dvesha, you are burnt inside, no? Can't tolerate that, no? Can't, sir. Isn't it? Don't talk, no? Oh my God, how can I not talk? How can I not talk? It's burning. The whole body is, head to toe, the whole body is burning. The tapa of Raga Dvesha burns up a person. What is tapas? Putting up with that burning sensation. For whose good? You can put up with that burning sensation only when you realize it is for your own good. Incidentally, other also gets benefited, isn't it? Incidentally, it benefits the other. So what is tapas? The tapa of Raga Dvesha. Always wanting that which gives you pleasant, always avoiding that which gives you pain, dukkam. Always sukham and no dukkam. This is so constant. Any attempt to change burns you up from inside, as it were, isn't it? Not as it were, no? Literally everybody is burnt. And that is called tapas. Why it is called like that? Because all your energies are getting dissipated in that. All your energies are getting dissipated in that. Tapaha. Therefore, if you have to do something meaningful, you have to conserve your energy and direct the energy and generate more energy. If you have to do something meaningful in life, you need to do tapas. Tapassu. Are you able to understand what is the definition of tapas? Tapassu. This is the definition of tapas. The third one is dhaneshu. Dhaneshu. Dhana. Dhana. Actions will produce a result. Actions will produce a result. What do you do with that result? You can say this is my effort and you can put it in your pocket. Or you can give it away. So whatever the result of your actions are, you are giving it away. That giving it away is called dhanam. What are all the results of your action? The first tangible result of your action is wealth. That's why they say, when you are giving away wealth, what are you giving away? You are not giving away wealth. When I give away wealth, what happens, sir? Your bank balance increasing, now bondi avara, isn't it? I am becoming a bondi and you are becoming rich. That is not dhanam. What is dhanam? The result of your action. The fruit of your action. And that fruit of your action, you don't arrogate it. And that also you give it away. That also you give it away. When you give it away, you are practicing dhanam. If you, whatever meritorious deeds, now he is taking it to the highest, direct path. He has come back to his direct path now. Whatever punya palam you get out of these four, when you do all these four, you get a punya palam. Whatever punya palam you get out of these four, yogi says, I have nothing to do with this. By saying I have nothing to do with this, he reaches the supreme primeval abode. Sthanam. He reaches that. What is that sthanam he reaches? That abode. Yathasthanam, we say no. Fixed place. That fixed permanent place, this person gets. Who does all these four religiously. All these four he does very religiously. By doing these four, he gets a punya. He gets a punya palam. And that punya palam, he says, I have nothing to do with it. Na mama, he says for that also. He says for that also, na mama. From the beginning, he's saying what? Na mama. Not mine, not mine, not mine, not mine. Why not mine? Because what I think as me is not me. The problem is what I am thinking as me is not me. What is not me, I am thinking as me. That is jnanam. Where do you start with? In order to come to this level, where do you have to start with? Titiksha, you have to start. Where do you start this? To come to this, you have to start from Titiksha. Gradually you come, and then somewhere down the line you have the clarity, the right knowledge, the right understanding. You restrict your life only to these four. You restrict your life only to this four. What is the four? Vedaha, Yajnaha, Tapaha, Dana. Vede, Yajne, Tapa, Dana. Yajna, Dana, Tapas is one pedal. Sravana, Manana is another pedal. Two pedals. You can't grow by one pedal. If you have to move forward, you need the two pedals to move forward. What are the two pedals? Vedaha is one pedal, one side of the story. Vedaha means Sravana, Manana, etc. Study every day. That we know. The other pedal is Yajna, Dana, Tapas. What is Yajna? Remembering divine in and through receipt, reaction, response. What is Tapas? Raga Dvesha drives you to do things. You are able to hold it. Yeah. Like he says, no, drink a glass of cold water. Body is getting so heated up. No. Body is getting heated up. Mind is getting heated up. Words are getting heated up. Everybody around is heated. And the whole place is on fire. Isn't it? Everybody is screaming. Everybody is shouting. Everybody is fighting. The whole house is on fire. And you go into the house only, you can feel the heat. No? Why? Because there's no tapas at all in that house. What is tapas? This is the tapas. Second thing. Third is dhanam. What is dhanam? One of the essential disciplines is dhanam, giving. And what is dhanam? Again in chapter 4 we have seen that. Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, swadhyaya, jnana yajna. You can give material wealth, you can give physical health, you can give emotional, intellectual, and you can give the self-study. Oh, abdina self-study director poilama, sir. No. Self-study is one pedal. Dhanam refers to the other three. What are the other three? Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna. What is yoga yajna? If somebody comes to talk, just listen. Don't give advice. Because they are coming to you for புலம்புறதுக்கு ஒரு ஆள் வேணும். Simply listen to their புலம்புறதுக்கு இங்கிலீஷ்ல என்ன பேரு? What is the English word for புலம்புற? I'm sure, I don't know. Wait, I'm asking the scholars here. Venting out, fretting. அது என்ன word fretting? English அது? I don't know. Fretting. What is emotional solace? Somebody comes to talk to you, not asking for advice and all. They just want to vent. What you should do? Simply listen. Finally, what you should say? You need not say anything because they will get up and go away automatically. That is emotion. That is solace. That is giving emotion. Shankar. உடனே அட்வைஸ் ஆரம்பிச்சிடக்கூடாது இல்லையா? அவங்க புலம்புறதுக்கு வந்தவங்க அட்வைஸ் கொடுத்தா வாட் will happen? Now you will become another புலம்பல் somewhere else. அவர்கிட்ட போனோம்பா that fellow became another problem now. What is intellectual help? You have a skill. Please understand, intellectual help is not Vedantic discourse. You have a skill. Help others in the area of your skill. That is yoga yajna. You understand what is yoga yajna now? Emotional help and intellectual help. That's yoga yajna. Yoga yajna, lectures kudukalama sir, Vedanta class. I will also start in Vedanta class. Confuse pannakoodadu. We have the sole copyright for confusing you all. You all should not start. You should only come and get confused. You don't create the other exclusive copyrights we have. So what is yoga yajna means? Intellectual help in the area of your skill. If you know finance, help in finance. If you know carpentry, help in carpentry. That skill, that knowledge you pass on, you are doing yoga yajna. Are you able to follow what is yoga yajna now? That is yoga yajna. Then comes tapo yajna. Tapo yajna means physical help. Physically, you go on physical help. Then comes dravya yajna. Materially, you help. So yajna means swadhyaya jnana yajna has vedeshu. Are you able to understand the distinction here? Swadhyaya jnana yajna comes under vedeshu. It means dhanam refers to what? Dravya, tapo, yoga. If you do all these four meticulously, what happens? If you do all these four meticulously, you will get a punya palam. Moksha you will not get. Punya palam you will get. If you say yes to that punya palam, Brahmaloka krama mukti. If you say no to that punya palam, Jivan mukti now. Are you able to follow? Krishna will be wondering how to explain it much clearer than this. Vedeshu yajna, Veda yajna, tapas, dhanam you do. Religiously, sincerely, dedicatedly, if you do all these four, you get a punya palam. If you say yes to that punya palam and take it, where do you have to go? Brahma lokala pe ukarma. And then listen to all these discourses once again. And regretting in why do I have to go through this another session? If you say yes to the punya palam, krama mukti, brahma loka. If you say no to punya palam, jivan mukti now. Arjuna, do all these four and be careful to say no to the punya palam. If you do that, you will reach the supreme abode. What is the supreme abode? The state of moksha, self-realization, Brahman. You become Brahman. Arjuna asked Prayana Kale what will happen. Krishna's answer is, why worry about Prayana Kale and all? Do it. Do it now and be done with it. Therefore, Vedeshu yajneshu tapaschu saiva dhaneshu yat punyapalam pratishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadhyam. With this, we conclude verse number 28, chapter 8. Akshara Brahma Yoga is over. Another chapter, beautiful chapter, we will continue next. Beautiful chapter. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya, the yoga of royal knowledge and royal secret. But sir, for every chapter you are saying the same thing. No, beautiful chapter, beautiful chapter. What to do? Each and every word that comes from the Lord is, each and every word is so beautiful. No, which word to take and which word not to take, you don't know. All becomes so wonderful. Akshara Brahma Yoga is Krama Mukti and Jivan Mukti and all that. Na? Chapter 9, which we will continue later, is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya, the yoga of royal knowledge and royal secret. Knowledge royal, secret royal. What is the royalty? We will see. What is the Raja in that? We will see next week when we study. With this, we have concluded chapter 8. And we will continue with chapter 9 onwards in the next session. Next week. Clarifications? Yes. Yes.
And you said that we have to let go a few things. But you didn't tell what is it that we have to let go.
Yeah.
And in the order of karma, bhakti, jnana, you are saying.
Yes. So, I said you have to let go. What is it that you have to let go? I didn't say that. So say that also. Incomplete. Yeah. Give complete knowledge. Don't give incomplete knowledge. Give complete knowledge. Aragoreya personal, how does it help? Yeah. That's what she's saying. And anybody else, I can shout back and say, shut up. Yeah. To this person, I can't say, shut up also. Dosa is going to come from her only, after this now. So at least for the sake of dosa, I will answer. Yeah. Anshu, at least for this sake, I have to answer rightly now. What you should let go, all that you call as mine, on what basis you are calling it as mine? You say something as yours, no? Letting go means what all you call as mine, what is the basis? That inquiry, if you do again and again and again, that inquiry will help you to let go. I'm giving you the formula. What all you call as yours. This body is mine. This house is mine. This child is mine. This is mine. There are a few things, no? There are a few things that you claim as yours. Question. Inquiry. On what basis you say this as mine? Some basis will come. Is it legitimate? You may think it has a basis, but does it really has a basis? That is what knowledge is. That's what Arjuna did. Arjuna said in chapter 2, in the beginning of chapter 2, Arjuna said very clearly, in my thinking, fighting is wrong. In my thinking, fighting is wrong. Full stop. Something extraordinarily he said next. But I do not know whether my thinking is right or wrong. He's not worried about the conclusion. He's worried about what brought him to that conclusion. Are you able to understand the difference? He's saying, according to my thinking, fighting is wrong. And he's not asking Krishna, is my conclusion right or wrong? He's only saying, I do not know whether my thinking is right in order to have come to this conclusion. Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Set right my thinking. Who's the Sishya? Sishya is one who goes to the Guru asking for what? To set right the thinking. And the Guru says what? How to set right your thinking? You are so convinced certain things are yours, no? All your conviction with which you say certain things as yours has no legitimacy at all, has no validity at all because they are not yours. My body belongs to the elements. My body. No, body is not yours. Body belongs to the elements. So everything like that, we say mine, 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 they keep saying not yours, not yours, not yours. This is how you let go. Because it's thieving. It's thieving. That which is not yours, to claim it as yours is thieving, stealing, isn't it? Are you able to follow? It's thieving, stealing. What a poor character a person must have to say things which doesn't belong to one as one's. That is letting go. So you understand that you are not letting go of anything. You are only saying, you are only understanding things rightly. Are you able to follow? I'm giving you the formula with which you can apply according to your ability and capacity. You can apply it in all the areas. Are you able to follow? There is no, you don't let go of karma bhakti jnanam at all. You have to do karma bhakti jnanam. What is letting go? You can't let go of karma bhakti jnanam.
In Karma Yoga, what you let go?
In karma yoga, what you let go? Selfishness, you let go. In bhakti yoga, what you let go? Attachment, you let go. In jnana yoga, what you let go? I know, you let go. Here is the difficulty. In karma yoga, what you let go? Selfishness, you let go. In bhakti yoga, what you let go? Attachment, you let go. In jnana yoga, what you let go? I know. If you let go of your I know, if you let go of your attachment, if you let go of your, what is the third thing I said? Karma yoga, selfishness. Preparation one. You can't let go of all this. What is the preparation? Vichara. What all you call as mind, start from there. Don't worry about this. Start from there, mature in that, and come here. Don't come here directly. You cannot. People can come, but you will not be able to because algebra padikama calculus puriyadu. Fractions, addition, fractions, multiplication, division, algebra puriyadu. Isn't it? If fractions itself is very confusing, algebra will not be understood. If algebra itself is very confusing, calculus will not be understood. Therefore, we are saying, go step by step. Go step by step. Is it okay? Anything else?
Yes, Mala has posted a question.
I saw. So far, you explained that our mental status, thought, selfless actions lead us to joy or sorrow or nirdvandvam. These are in our control. Though our vasanas pulling us away every moment. How does the above thinking determine the time of our death, which is not in our control? Not clear. Please help. In the question I anticipate Pandita, we answered it at the beginning of the session. He is not talking about the time of death because it is not the time of death, it is the gati. It is the gati, the path. Remember the two words, kala and gati. Because this confusion will come naturally. It's a natural confusion. So he is not talking about the time of death. He is talking about the gati. The gati is in your control. The time of death is not in your control. Mala. Gati is in your control. Which gati you want to take? Narayana gati. You can take that gati. That gati is in your control. But what is not in your control? The time of death is not in your control. And Krishna is not attempting to control the time of death. Krishna is not attempting to know the time of death. Control the time of death, we are not attempting. What are we attempting? What is Krishna saying? You know only one thing. What? The time of death is not under your control, but the but the gati is under your control. Since gati is under your control, focus on gati. Because after death, where are you going? What is going to take you? Not the time of death is not going to determine the gati. Are you able to follow, Mala? Misunderstanding in the Dakshinayana, Uttarayana, and all this, people misunderstand it as the time of death. It's not the time of death. That's why I posed the question. What is the question that I posed? Criminals die in Uttarayana and Jnani dying in Dakshinayana, what will happen? Ulta result will come. Absurd it is. It's absurd. Therefore, it is not the time of death, it is the gati. The Dakshinayana and Uttarayana is an indication of gati, that's all. It's a symbolic word. Dakshinayana, Uttarayana is a symbolic word, not the literal word. People misunderstand and they take it literally. Don't take it literally, understand it symbolically. Then it becomes clear. If Uttarayana and Dakshinayana refers to time, why does he say Agni and Jyoti in the verses? The words Agni and Jyoti will have no meaning if it is the time. Therefore, what do we understand? Krishna is only referring to the path of travel and not time of death. What you do in your life, you can determine. Your death time, you cannot determine. That is very clear. Are you able to follow? Yeah. Anything else? Punit. Mala, okay, Mala? Yes, yeah, Punit.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you. I think so you've related some of the verses from previous chapters to explain. Now, just reflecting on when we look ourselves as a third person.
Yes.
So now, so you look at your body, mind, intellect as something you are driving.
Yes.
Like, something you are going through your routines, your lifestyle, your work, everything. And then you have to do best of that. And when you get the result also, this body who is doing is getting the result. So you basically then, but you still have to make sure that this body does the action, get the result also, but you are not even linked with action then, and you're not even linked with result also.
Exactly correct. Since you are not linked with the action, obviously you will not link yourself with the result.
But the one who is driving this BMI is also you.
No. One who's driving the BMI is the combination. Matter plus spirit. Human being is BMI. That BMI na body, mind, intellect. Yeah. Punit is doing a lot of group discussions. That is why he's saying BMI and all. Yeah, Punit. So body, mind, intellect is the human. And that human is a combination of two. What is the combination? Matter plus spirit. As the matter does what it ought to do, one part of you refuses to identify with it. So, on the one hand, that's where it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you are the doer. On the other hand, you are not identifying with the doer. You follow? Now I am answering you directly. You are a combination of two. What are the two? The human being is a combination. What are the two? Witnesser and the doer. You can identify with the doer part. You can identify with the witnesser part. So you are the doer. You got to ensure at the same time, as you ensure a third person does everything rightly, you ensure your body, mind, intellect does everything rightly.
So that the discipline, then everything is, you have to drive it,
Yes.
that person then, okay,
Yes.
as a doer.
Yes, as a doer. This is called self-management. External management is you manage the others as a third person. No. You are managing the others as a third person. What is self-management? Not managing others as a third person, managing yourself as a third person.
So then you getting that knowledge how to do it,
Yes.
and look at the separation also.
To get the separation, correct. That's why we emphasize on this knowledge, and without this knowledge, you will not be able to practice all this.
So then this becomes like an assignment or a role which is there for the time being,
Yes.
and you're managing it, and you know you were there before, you are there after, just
Exactly correct.
get this experience then. Okay.
Exactly. Punit, you are right. Punit, you are right. Next week, Punit Maharaj will do the class. Yeah, next week. Huh? Punit, okay? You are right. You understand it as just the role. That's it. And you keep moving. You keep moving from role to role to role. You keep moving, and whatever role you got to play at that point of time, you play it and keep moving. Perfect. That's how you grow. Okay. Yeah. With this, we conclude for today, and we'll continue with chapter 9 onwards next week.